From the colorful hills of Valparaíso to the otherworldly silence of the Atacama Desert, this journey takes us through the wild north of Chile, where the ocean meets the Andes, and time seems to stretch like the desert itself. We begin by leaving behind the vineyards of Santiago, tracing the legendary wine route westward to the iconic port of Valparaíso, a city that clings to the hills, alive with color, art, and maritime history. Then we fly north to San Pedro de Atacama, an oasis at the edge of the Cordillera. There, ancient villages whisper their stories in adobe walls. Geysers rise at dawn like breath from the earth, and flamingos wade through sapphire lagoons at over 4,000 meters high. Along the way, we climb the Valley of the Moon, chase sunsets across the salt flats, and end under the clearest sky on Earth at the Paranal Observatory, home of the world's most powerful telescope. This is a journey through contrasts, through silence and sky, through a Chile that stirs the senses and stills the soul.
Welcome aboard World 100 Stories. Like, subscribe, and follow our true journey around the globe. We leave behind Santiago and the Andes to follow Chile's famed wine route, a journey that leads us to the mythical port of Valparaíso and a first glimpse of the Pacific. We leave the vineyards behind and reach Valparaíso, a city poured over the hills, where colors run wild and stares never seem to end. The heart of the Pacific beats here, between creaking balconies and rusting rails. It's not a city you walk through, it's a city you climb, one breath at a time. Valparaíso was once South America's maritime jewel, the last call before the Strait of Magellan. Its docks welcomed tall ships and trade winds. The Armada de Chile still docks here, and the Compañía de Navegación Interoceánica bore the nation's colors across the oceans. Its soul is salt and steel, yet its spirit is art. As you ride up one of the city's 16 historic ascensores, the port disappears, and a patchwork of painted homes emerges. Graffiti becomes poetry. Sidewalks become stairways to imagination. Valparaíso doesn't pretend, it pulses. It speaks in textures, not silence. After hours on a dust-ribboned highway, a splash of green erupts from the desert floor. San Pedro de Atacama, an oasis town wrapped in light and silence. From here, the journey becomes otherworldly. Sun-baked adobe walls glow copper under an endless blue sky. Crooked lanes funnel us toward the shady plaza, where whitewashed colonnades shelter tiny cafes and craft stalls. Evening draws us west to landscapes that look borrowed from another planet. Jagged salt ridges rise like frozen waves. Enormous dunes cascade in ribbons of gold. From the summit of La Grande Duna, we watch shadow and sun stage their daily duel. Canyons glow ember red, then fade to lavender as the first stars spark overhead. Salt ridges glow ember red, giant dunes blush gold, and the silhouettes of Licancabur and Lascaux volcanoes stand guard on the horizon. Silence here is complete, broken only by the crunch of salt underfoot and the slow heartbeat of your own breath. At dawn, the 4x4 heads for the blinding white of the Atacama Salar, the largest salt crust in Chile. First stop, Laguna Chaxa, a briny mirror where pink flamingos take flight at the faintest breeze. We climb higher to Misganti and Muñeques, perched at 4,300 meters. Cobalt waters ringed by volcanoes seem frozen in eternity. In the pre-Hispanic village of Soquer, barley terraces checker the hillside, while Toconao, built of volcanic stone, shows its solitary bell tower.
It is 5 a.m. The thermometer reads -10 degrees Celsius as the track climbs to 4,300 meters. Suddenly, a deep rumble. This is El Tatio. Columns of steam shoot skyward like cathedral spires and dissolve into the icy blue. Over breakfast, frost-crackling bread meets steaming coffee, while a lone vicuña trots across the plain, trailed by a curious guanaco. Vizcachas, ñandus, even the elusive gray fox complete this Andean arc. The bold slip into the thermal pool. Scalding water battles the biting air, and a veil of mist wraps the bathers.
City yawns in the desert floor. Chuquicamata, Chuqui to the miners, is the largest man-made hole on Earth, 4.3 kilometers long, 3 kilometers wide, and plunging more than 900 meters deep. From the visitor balcony, the haul trucks look like toy cars. Each wheel is taller than a 2-story house. Hard hats on, we trace the ore's journey from pit to smelter, learning how this open-pit giant has fed Chile's economy for over a century. We roll out of Antofagasta at twilight, tires droning on the Pan-American Highway, a ribbon that begins near the Arctic and dies in Patagonia. Southbound, it feels like driving the planet's backbone. Pacific surf to our right, rust-red mesas to our left. Nothing but mile markers counting down to the ends of the earth. After 2 hours of desert silence, we turn inland on a gravel spur. Cerro Paranal rises alone, a lonely dome in a sea of stone. At 2,636 meters, the European Southern Observatory's Very Large Telescope waits. 4 white giants angled toward a sky so pure, they harvest starlight 320 nights a year. Standing beneath the domes, we watch daylight bleed away. Adobe villages, salt lagoons, geysers at dawn, a copper pit at noon, fog at dusk. And now the universe itself. A week of northern Chile extremes distilled into one cold breath of starlight. Journey complete, we let the engines cool and the Milky Way carry us farther than any road could ever go.